Today we're sharing with you our chocolate cake. It's rich, decadent, naturally vegan, and so easy to make. You really are going to love this recipe. Hey guys, Ash here at the Cheeky Indian, bringing you some delicious recipes, and today's recipe is no exception. Our chocolate cake is delicious and it's naturally vegan. We're also going to show you how to make the chocolate buttercream and how to dress the cake, so stay tuned to the very end. Remember, you can like us on social media at the Cheeky Indian, and please remember to hit like and subscribe if you like the video today. It really helps us and we would love to hear from you in our comments. Remember, all ingredients and useful links are in the description below, so don't worry, you won't miss a thing. Right, let's dive in, let's get baking. So we'll start off with 1 cup of white granulated sugar and then half a cup of vegetable oil. Just pour it straight on top of the sugar. Next is 1 tablespoon of white vinegar and then 2 cups of hot water. Mix all of this up until all the sugar is dissolved, and then we'll have our wet mix ready to move on to our dry mix. Now, if you haven't made an eggless cake before, don't worry, they usually are a lot more liquid than a usual sponge mix. So for the dry mix, we're going to sift it into a large bowl, 2 cups of plain flour, 1 cup of cocoa powder, and we're going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder to that, and then half a teaspoon of salt. Pass everything through the sieve, and once it's all in the bowl, give it a good mix. You'll have this light brown powder, just like this. Try and be a bit tidier than me. And when you've got that, it's time to take it to the liquid mix and just pour it straight in. We're going to whisk this, or you're just going to fold it in until it's smooth. Ideally, we want a lump-free batter, but don't worry if there's a few lumps in there. So we've got this nice lovely liquid batter mix here, and when you've got that, it's time to pour it into 2 lined cake tins, 8-inch cake tins. So I've lined my tins with parchment paper and some vegan butter, so depending on what you're making it with, that would be fine. Try and get an even pour on the mix of the batter and get it all out. Oh, and don't forget to taste it, of course. And that's a bit useful, I actually finished that bowl. So give the cake tins a little wobble to get rid of some of the air bubbles, and then it's off to the oven for 20 to 30 minutes at 180 degrees. Perfect time to make our chocolate buttercream. So I'm using my stand whisk for this, but doing it by hand is absolutely fine and very easy, so don't worry. So we're going to whisk up 2 cups of butter. Remember, I'm using vegan butter. When it's light and fluffy, add 2 cups of icing sugar, kind of tablespoon at a time, just like this. Whisk it up again for about 2-3 minutes until you've got like a clotted cream consistency. Then add in half a teaspoon of vanilla essence and start to add in the cocoa powder, sort of 1 spoon at a time, as we did with the icing sugar. Now, it's not a race, but it really won't take that long. After about 3 or 4 minutes, you'll have this lovely chocolate frosting, and it will hold brilliantly on the cake. Speaking of which, the cakes look like they're ready. They've been in there about 25 minutes, so I'm just going to test them with a skewer. Just poke a sharp skewer into the cake mix, and if they come out dry, it means your cakes are perfect. Now, this mix will never really dry out, so don't worry too much. When the tins are cool enough, grab a knife and just sort of trim around the outside of the cake to release it. Turn it upside down, flip it, and then remove the parchment paper to reveal the flat side of the cake. Just look at how beautifully moist this looks. Perfect. Yep, perfect all round. So let these babies cool down on a rack for about half an hour or an hour. When they are really cool and ready to handle the frosting, we'll start making our cake. So we're almost there. Now it's time to frost the cake. Grab yourself a stand or a plate, put a dollop of icing down to steady the base, and put the base down flat side up. But don't worry if you've got chunks like this missing out the side. It can and it will happen to the best of us. So we're going to put a sandwich layer down of the frosting, and then we're going to drop the top on, this time flat side down. Get the icing nice and soft, give it a nice whisk up, make sure it's really pliable, and then give the entire cake a coating of the frosting. About a ½ inch thick would be perfect. A great tip to get a smooth edge is just to run your finger along the edges. And here's our cake, absolutely perfect. Now you can keep this in the fridge for a few days, but if you're like me, it probably won't even last a few minutes. Rich, decadent, and amazingly chocolatey. So good. If you like this, you're going to love the next video. Check it out. The link is coming up now. We've got loads of desserts, loads of bakes, loads of savoury delights coming up. So stay tuned, we'll see you in the next video, and stay safe guys.